Hi, thank you for joining me for the fifth part of this program. Let's review. So far we've talked about shoulder mobility and the importance of keeping the ball and socket loose. Second, we talked about thoracic mobility or upper back mobility, making sure that our body stays loose and limber. Third, we talked about core mobility and what that means to the function in our frontal plane, movement side to side. Fourth, we talked about one of my favorite movements, the shoulder push-ups, which is movement of our scapula. Now we're going to talk about one that integrates those first four, and it's really important. The way that this integrates the first four is because it keeps your body's muscles open and able to move, kind of like a clear channel or a clear vessel. So we did our part by mobilizing to a degree the joints. Now we're going to do our part by mobilizing the muscles. And what we're going to use is a Theracane. A Theracane, as you can see, looks like a cane you would use to help you walk or hang, because it has this kind of hang function here. We're actually going to use a Theracane to loosen up our muscles. And we're going to loosen up trigger points in particular. What are trigger points? Trigger points are tension clusters within the body. They're the fixations we have within our muscles. How do we get fixation with our muscles? Because we have certain postures that we really conduct all of our affairs in and day out. So your body loves you so much and it wants to help you that it creates tension patterns, almost internal tethers, to help support you as you move and as you sustain yourself upright. Here's how we're going to use the Theracane today. The Theracane has two handles at the bottom that I'm going to grab with one with each hand. And I'm going to work with my right upper trapezius, which is just off to the right of my neck. And I'm going to pull down with both handles until I feel a tender spot. And I'm going to feel around. I'm not going to use a chart that tells me exactly where to look. I'm going to actually experiment with my body and get to know myself. And when I find a tender spot, like I have here, we're going to use our first technique today. And our first technique is a pin and hold. And now I'm going to wait 20 to 30 seconds. And if this is a certain type of tension pattern, then after 20 or 30 seconds, my body should go, and you should feel a systemic overall body sensation that does feel very similar to the sound, and that actually does feel really good. As I surf around, if I were to find another tender spot, tender to the touch, and I hold down, this time I'm going to use a slightly different technique. I'm going to use a pin and stretch technique. So as I pin this tender position down, I'm going to move my neck in a variety of ways so it doesn't seem like up tightens it more, but actually down and looking down towards my midline to my left seem to make this spot hurt worse. Now, you want to get clearance from a medical professional and your healthcare practitioner before continuing or before using the Theracane. But what I would do and what I instruct clients to do is to almost make it hurt a little bit more. And the reason for that is, as you make it hurt a little bit more, the tissue starts to loosen, or the tension pattern. And as you do it, the tension pattern starts to become loose and it starts to get pulled out of your system. And as you pull a tension pattern out of your system, your body can walk around day to day with an Now, this is not to replace seeing a massage therapist, a physical therapist, or a skilled practitioner, but this is to accentuate something for you to be able to do in your home or as you travel that will definitely help you, and it will help your therapist or practitioner get to the deeper levels and the deeper causes of your discomfort. So let's go over a few ways of how you're going to use this. We're going to start at the upper part of our trap and work our way down just to the outside of our shoulder on both sides. Gentle as we're around our neck, working our way down. Again, whether it's the hold for 20 or 30 seconds, or the pin and stretch, or moving the lower body and the upper body at the same time. I just want you to begin with the hold for pressure for 20 to 30 seconds and the pin and stretch. And that should serve you very well. So we're going to work our way down both sides of our traps, and we're actually going to work onto the back side of our lower back. Starting towards the top of your spine where your neck and your upper back meet, just outside of your spine, you're going to go down 10 positions, maybe going down every inch, and holding it there again for 20 or 30 seconds. And the point of this is to loosen up the muscles around your spine and just inside of your scapula, or your shoulder blades. And these are areas, again, that commonly become fixated with tension patterns because of our daily life. What I commonly instruct clients to do when using the Theracane, again, is to set a timer, but this time starting off and working within a 2-minute time frame. What that does is that trains you over time to be consistent. What do I mean by consistent? That means that you'll go right to the muscles that hurt you, because you'll start to develop an intuition of where those positions are after you've done it quite a few times. Then you'll know how to maximize your time by focusing on the places that continue to come back and cause and wreak the biggest havoc on your life. And you'll start to notice those as you pull these trigger tight tension patterns out of your system, and then you start to feel them come back. What does that mean? Well, that means that if I were to work on my shoulders and I just started, my shoulders after the first week might be so loose and so mobile. Then say 2 weeks after that, so 3 weeks from the beginning, I pick something up, and I go, oh, my shoulder's bound like it was a month ago, but I forgot all about it. Well, let me use that Theracane this time primarily on my right shoulder, because that's the area that's chronically tight for me at the moment. And what you have developed is you've developed the skill for using a tool that can help you at home, it can help you while you're traveling, and it can help you as you're working with a skilled therapist, because you're able to do homework to keep yourself loose while you utilize their services. So let's go over how to bring this whole program together. For the first week, with the first 4 exercises, you're going to be doing 1 minute apiece. So that's 1 minute of the shoulder mobility drill, 1 minute of the thoracic mobility drill, 1 minute of the core mobility drill, and then 1 minute of the shoulder push-ups. And then 2 minutes with the Theracane. So what does that look like? That looks like a total of 6 minutes. I would set a stopwatch to beep every minute to go through the first 4 exercises, and then adjust the stopwatch to go to 2 minutes. Now let's move into week 2. We'll work with a 90-second time frame. Each of the first 4 exercises will bump up to 90 seconds, so that'll be a minute and a half, a minute and a half, a minute and a half, and one more time at a minute and a half. So that will be a total of 6 minutes, adding 2 minutes at the end. So I would set your timer to count down from 90 seconds to beep, and then you can move through your next exercise. Going through the first 4, readjusting the timer at 2 minutes. And now let's move into the third week, where all exercises will be at 2 minutes. So 2 minutes for the shoulder mobility drill, 2 minutes for the thoracic mobility drill, 2 minutes for the core mobility drill, 2 minutes for the shoulder push-ups, and finally 2 minutes for the Theracane. So that will be a total of 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, or 20 minutes a day. If that was 20 minutes a day for 30 days, that would be 600 minutes. If you were able to do 600 minutes for 1 year, let's just say 10 months for the sake of math, you would be able to do 6,000 minutes of exercise. that you may even do in front of the television. So you can exercise for 6,000 minutes while watching your favorite TV programming. There are very few other programs that would allow you that flexibility while still offering tremendous benefit, because again, this is what I see afflicted in 99% of the population. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for allowing me to show these 5 exercises to you, and I look forward to serving you in the future. Thank you. Cheers.